Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me again. This is week 8 hot cash from the King of Spice. We are a Nimble with Numbers production. Of course, I'm Bo McBrayer. You can find me on Twitter at Bo_McBigTime. Make sure you like, subscribe to this to the YouTube channel, Nimble W Numbers. This is a cash games guide for NFL DFS. Cash games are double ups, so where you're just trying to beat half the field. So don't really have to worry about chalk or ownership as much, not nearly as much. You should pay attention to it if you're in a large field contest, but overall, we're looking for the best points per dollar values on the slate that you can compile under the salary cap. Let's kick it off with the quarterback position. Jalen Hurts. Yes. Jalen Hurts in cash, 8,300 going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 24th in the NFL at defending the quarterback position. Jalen Hurts is averaging 25.6 DraftKings points every game. That's good enough for me. I will be playing a ton of Jalen Hurts in cash. Going down to the mid-tier, Daniel Jones, 5,700 going up against the Seahawks. The Seahawks can't stop anybody. There's going to be a rainy game up in Seattle at the 12. The 12 is going to be loud, but Daniel Jones rushing. Over 100 yards rushing last week. He might do it again this week against Seattle. I just love the way the guy's playing. It's surprising, but he's ahead of the pre-Diggs Josh Allen curve for under Brian Daboll. This is a great player. 5,700 DFS price for him on DraftKings. He's averaging 18 fantasy points per game, a lot more last week. And very far down to the bottom, I like Malik Willis at 5,000. I also like that 4,000 spot for Sam Ehlinger. He's not great, but he does have a rushing floor, so those are the big cash plays for me. An honorable mention that I'm playing more in tournaments is Tua Tagovailoa at 6,200, but overall I'm going to be playing either Jalen Hurts or somebody farther down with Daniel Jones, or even the two really cheap younger players, 4,000 for Sam Ehlinger, 5,000 for Malik Willis in lieu of Ryan Tannehill. Moving on to the running back position, these top dogs, guys. Christian McCaffrey, solid play, but I'm loading up on Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley this week. Derrick Henry against Houston. Houston is the worst run defense in the league. They can't tackle anybody. They just gave up 3 touchdowns and $150 to Josh Jacobs. Derrick Henry has owned this team his entire career. Play lots and lots and lots of Derrick Henry in cash games. And then Saquon Barkley at 8,100 going up against the Seattle defense that can't stop the run. They're 29th against running backs. And Saquon's averaging over 21 points per game on DraftKings. Moving down, you can play some Josh Jacobs, but I don't like his matchup as much. DeAndre Swift, if he's active, you play him in DFS, period. That's the law. He's only 6,800. Irrelevant. He's active. Off the injured report, you are playing DeAndre Swift. I like Miles Sanders. Don't love him. Same for Kenneth Walker. Don't love Ramondre or Pierce. And all the way down, Tony Pollard. Very, very, very popular. So I would play Pollard in most cash games at 6,100, except for the really, really big ones where ownership kind of matters. If you're in a large 50-50, then you definitely should consider playing somebody else at running back besides Pollard, who's going up against a very favorable matchup and finally the role he deserves. 6,100 is still a bit steep for a guy who we still haven't seen Kellen Moore actually create a game plan for. So I will be playing some Pollard, but only if the contest is moderately small. And finally, going down, 5,400, Antonio Gibson. Good play. Like it. Don't love it. And then even farther down, it seems crazy. It is crazy. But Dare Ogunbowale at 4,300. He's a receiving back. Rex Burkhead has looked awful this year. Shocker. They signed him to a 2-year contract for no reason. He looks terrible. And Dameon Pierce has stolen his job. And last week, Dare Ogunbowale in the second half of their blowout loss took a lot of Rex Burkhead's touches, and he scored double-digit fantasy points, 11.2 to be exact. Caught 5 passes for 54 yards on 7 targets. Daria Gumbawale is probably going to get some run in this game because I still think Tennessee blows out Houston. Houston's awful. Awful. And Tennessee is not awful. They're in first place, and they're starting their rookie who's going to score some points on this defense. Daria Gumbawale is my deep sleeper for cash at 4,300. If you need to save the salary somewhere, do it there. Moving on to the wide receiver position, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, 9,600 and 9,600 and 9,100 respectively. Awesome plays. Devontae Adams, awesome play. Tyreek Hill, awesome play. A.J. Brown, awesome play. Wide receiver, chalk is what you avoid in tournaments, not in cash. Play all of these guys if you feel it. Michael Pittman's the one guy I'm fading because I don't trust Sam Ehlinger to be able to reach the perimeter with his arm strength being 0. Amon-Ra St. Brown at 6,900. You might not see him this cheap for the rest of the season. Jalen Waddle's a good play, more of a tournament play. Devontae Smith, 6,300, good play. This Pittsburgh defense is bad, especially on the back end, and Devontae Smith at 6,300 has a lot of upside. So does Chris Olave at 6,000. Unbelievable spot here. Chris Olave is going to have a huge game against the Vegas Raiders. Jacoby Myers, 5,600, good deal. DJ Moore, 5,300, good deal, but I don't trust him in a cash game, so I won't have very much. And about as far as I want to go at the wide receiver position. I'll be spending up where I can at wide receiver. Paris Campbell, 4,500 would probably be my jumping off point, if not for Khalif Raymond at 4,300. Wide receiver is a little bit more expensive this week, and that's okay. Tight end, George Kittle's the most expensive guy on this board at only 5,700. He's not in a good matchup. Everybody wants to say that, Kittle might get more targets because Deebo Samuel is out in this game. I think it could be the opposite because Kyle Juszczyk is also out of this game. The fullback, the star Pro Bowl fullback for the Niners is also out, which means George Kittle might be relied upon as more of their fullback from this game and left to block even more. Darren Waller is still a game-time decision. I don't trust him yet. Zach Ertz, 5,100. Yes, please. We play against Minnesota every chance we get. Dallas Goedert, good choice there. Hawkinson, good. Higbee, good, but not great. Pitts, no, not for cash. Gesicki, yes. Detroit can't cover anybody. Irv Smith, we're picking on Arizona. They are second worst against the tight end position in the NFL. We always target the Arizona defense with tight ends. Irv Smith is that guy this week. All right. Noah Fant, Chris Myrick, those are tournament plays. I guess you could say if you're dirt poor and you only had 2,800 left to your name, Noah Fant would be a decent play in cash, but I'm not really going that way with my lineup builds. All right. Wrapping up a defense, Dallas and Philly at 4,000 and 3,900. They're both great plays. I'm a little hesitant to play the Cowboys against the Bears because the Bears looked like they were world beaters last week against the Patriots defense that it's not that bad either. They are going to force turnovers and get sacks, so they're always a decent play at the top, but I'd rather spend up on the Eagles against Pittsburgh because Kenny Pickett's not it, and this offensive line for the Steelers is terrible. Eagles match up really well with the wide receiver heavy Steelers, so I think the Eagles are a great play. You can go down to the Colts 3,700, the Dolphins 3,500 if you think that they're going to hold the Lions down. But a lot of great plays cheaper down the board. The Niners 3,100 against the Rams. The Rams are giving up the most fantasy points to opposing DSTs, and the Niners are averaging 9.1 per week. Patriots are a good play, but I like the team that's playing against them, the New York Jets defense, to do a better job this week. Those corners, DJ Reed Jr. and Sauce Gardner, are locking it down. Quan Alexander is a great middle linebacker making big plays all over. The chalky play is going to be the Panthers against the Falcons. I like them a little bit, but I don't love them at 2,800. You can go down to the Rams. No Debo, no Juszczyk. Who knows what the 49ers will look like on offense with Jimmy Garoppolo throwing to lesser players. So the Rams at 2,700 are a really good play. The Commanders going up against Sam Ehlinger, maybe. They haven't really scored a lot of fantasy points this week, but that would be maybe as low as I go, if not for the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals, one of my favorite plays this week in DFS because Minnesota, not exactly opposed to turning the ball over with Kirk Cousins, and Arizona Cardinals have been limiting big plays. So if they can limit the big plays to Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook, they can keep this close and turn over Kirk Cousins. Thank you for joining me. Hot Cash, King of Spice, Week 8. Go set your cash lineups, your head-to-heads. Send me head-to-heads. I don't really want to play head-to-heads for money because I just want to win. So send me those free head-to-heads on DraftKings, Bo _ McBigtime. Let's get to cashing. Have a good night.